This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Broadcasting live from the backstretch at Saratoga. This is the Handicappers Report.
Good morning and welcome to the Handicappers Report on this Wednesday morning. We're back on track. Things are a little overcast. It's a little cool but comfortable as compared to maybe the past couple of weeks, but it promises to be a nice day. Heard a little weather forecast on the way in. Said maybe an occasional shower this afternoon. That's a difference to what I saw online yesterday, which said sunny all day. I'm going with yesterday's forecast, and right now it doesn't look threatening at all. But Seth Merrill, Jeff Carl in here to give you a little look at this afternoon's card at Saratoga. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Seth. And yeah, it's a little bit overcast, but they are on the turf today for all the turf races scheduled. Turf listed as good, so we'll see how it's playing as we get throughout the day. But everybody on the turf today.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good news.
Yeah, that is good news. Because it was tough the last couple of days. Although I will say, Monday started off chalky. And then hit that late pick three for over a couple $1,000 for $1. So I was thrilled with off the turf on Monday. Not early. I was chasing early. And I just kind of lucked into it, that $50-some winner in the last race. I had down in my fourth slot, and I went that deep in the late pick three. So it was a good day. And Abel Escano, who brought home that winner, my new favorite jockey.
Abel always brings home big winners here in Saratoga. The last several years, he's brought him some bombs. So don't go to sleep on Abel. He's not.
And he's on board in the feature race today. He's on board a nice horse as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But it was a good weekend up here, the track up here at Saratoga, for the New York Racing Association, which, I've been saying it for the past week and a half. With the early start, I was curious to see what the attendance would be. Opening weekend, very good, but then last Monday and Wednesday, or the first Monday and Wednesday, it kind of slowed down significantly. But Friday, College Day was great. Yeah. Saturday and Sunday were both reported as 31. Sunday, there was, of course, the glass giveaway. But Monday was over 12,000. For a Monday, that was a pretty good number.
That's fantastic for a Monday with, the weather the way it was and a lot of the scratches. But, I'm just very, very good attendance so far. Hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. So far, so good. And speaking of so far, so good, our man Matt Graves is joining us now. And, Matt, you're knocking him dead with the selection. So far, so good for you.
I don't know. I guess we're going to come back here pretty soon, but been pretty lucky. You had the pick 5 cold on Monday on a wet track, which really tells me that the gods are smiling on me there.
Yeah, those kind of days are funny. Sometimes, and again, a little bit early on, I was chasing a little bit as well, but I got lucky late with some prices in there. But those kind of days, the off the turf, the track being a little mucky like that, some days they're a little tricky. But again, you're on fire a little bit. Matt, we'll see if we can continue that this afternoon. What's your play of the day today?
Okay, let's see. We're going to race number 7. Race number 7, a $50,000 allowance on the inner turf, 1 mile. And I took a shot here with number 3, Benny's Bullet. A few reasons why. First of all, Gary Gullo is a trainer that I really like to follow, especially when he's first off the claim. I mean, his numbers aren't that high, but his first or second time off the claim, his horses really do well. But one of the numbers that he's really good at is blinkers. He's putting blinkers on Benny's Bullet, which is a 32% win move, which is pretty impressive. And he's also putting on a guy named Irad Ortiz for the mount today. So I just have a feeling that Benny's Bullet, stretching out from 7 furlongs to a mile, this could be a really good spot. And we're going with Benny's Bullet as the play of the day.
Hey, Matt, I think we're in agreement, actually. Nice. I have Benny's Bullet in my top spot also. I think with the addition of blinkers, this horse has, of course, natural early speed and going 2 turns for the very first time. I think Irad Ortiz is going to set sail and play catch me if you can. So I think we're in agreement on this one, my friend.
All right. I hope you're right.
Well, I've got it right underneath. So I've got Sunday school on top, but I really went back and forth with those two, and my comment next to Benny's Bullet was dangerous and probably the one to beat. So I have no arguments there at all. And Matt, just before we let you go, just as you joined us, we were talking a little bit about the attendance over the first week and a half or so. And I wonder if you're in the same camp I am. I mean, you go back as long as I do when, the traditional 4-week meet, if it started in July, it would start slow and end big. And I think that's held up as the meet has expanded. And now with the earliest start we can have, with Labor Day being September 1st, I was kind of expecting things to be a little light, but I've been surprised the past couple of weekends have been pretty good attendance-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people were really anxious to get it going here, and then, that good spell of weather we had certainly helped. But yeah, I was surprised too by the numbers. I mean, unfortunately, in the last couple of days we took a little bit of a hit, but you're right about that. It's kind of a surprise. I guess the fans were really chomping at the bit for Saratoga this year.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it bodes well because typically, and I expect it to be the same as we get to the end of the week and into August, I think things are going to pick up because I think traditionally people have that mindset, and so I would expect things to kick into high gear. And so the good start seems to bode well. We'll see how it plays out, but so far so good. Matt, as always, we appreciate the visit. Oh, we should remind people your blog post on capitalotb.com came up today. What's the topic?
Well, we're leading off today with my old friend Tom Durkin. I wanted to make sure that I got to him before everybody else did, and so we did a little visit with Tom. Plus, I've known him for many years, and he's just one of the most interesting guys around, and probably the greatest race caller of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's the best, and he's got a million stories. So we look forward to reading that. Matt Graves' blog column every Wednesday on capitalotb.com. Matt, again, we appreciate the visit.
All right, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. Hopefully we're both right today.
Yeah, exactly. Matt Graves, and again, you can check out blog posts. It's every Wednesday on capitalotb.com. All right, we will take our first break. When we come back, we'll kick into our Wednesday afternoon card here at Saratoga. Stay tuned. The Handicappers Report continues.
I'm Brian Nadeau of HorsePlayerNow.com. Did you know that each Monday during the Saratoga Racing Meet, all Capital Bets account holders can earn an additional 1% in their Player Rewards program and wagering on Saratoga races? For more information, log on to CapitalOTB.com.
Summer at Saratoga, and there's no better place to watch all the racing action than right here on OTB TV. Each morning, the Handicappers Report brings you selections and analysis from our professional handicappers. Then stick around as the biggest names in racing join us live from the backstretch. The top trainers, jockeys, and racing personalities all share their unique insights and observations. For more than 20 years, there's been just one place to turn for unparalleled coverage of the Saratoga Racing Meet: Capital OTB and OTB TV.
1922. Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pennell's restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pennell's has been preparing delicious Italian food served in a comfortable home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 91 years of authentic Italian recipes made with the freshest ingredients, and 91 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pennell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Face it, most horse racing websites are just too much clutter, too much to navigate through. Next time, log on to CapitalOTB.com. Our newly designed website is easier than ever to use, with all the information the professional horse player needs. CapitalOTB.com.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report, live from the Saratoga backstretch. Seth Merrill and Jeff Carroll. Let's kick into this Wednesday card. The opener today, as every Wednesday and Thursday, will be a steeplechase. And again, remember, steeplechase days, there's an early post time. Post time today, 12:25. Race number 1, an optional claimer for the jumpers. 30 tags, non-winners, a 2 lifetime in the condition. 2 miles and a 16th of the trip.
Yeah, Seth, I don't know an awful lot about these, so I'm taking a shot in the dark here. But just before we get started, turf listed as good, in case you missed that. At the top of the show, all races that are scheduled on turf will be run on the turf. I went 2 entry, 1 entry in the 5. The 2 entry trained by Jack Fisher. Looks to me as Easy Reach, is the one you want in this entry, but you're going to get 2 for the price of 1, so that's enough for me. For second, I have the 1 entry, Meganasi and Charminster. They have the same owner. That's why they are coupled. To me, the plain one, Meganasi, is the one that you would want. And for third, I have the number 5, Harrods Creek, who Seth, several years ago, 2 years ago, he won the John's Call Stakes here in Saratoga on the flats. That was in 2012, didn't have quite as a successful of a year in 2013. So you know what? They made him a jumper. Took him a few starts, but he finally did break his maiden last time out. And I can always read it, trying to read that horse's mind. He's probably thinking, you want me to do what? But it took him a few starts. He got that maiden broken. Let's put him in a third spot. 2 entry, 1 entry, and 5 in the steeplechase opener.
But how could you leave out my man Shepard in a jump race?
I got him all over tomorrow.
I put that's right. You got the 3-pronger in there tomorrow. I put him on top. 3, the 1 entry, 2. 3, the 1A, actually, the 2 entry, and 5. The 3 is Jonathan Shepard's. And I'm guessing because there's an L in front, you got to say Cison? Yes?
I know.
It's spelled El Cisa, but I'm assuming with L in there, Cison or Cison. We'll see how Tom pronounces it this afternoon. But it's a Jonathan Shepard trainee that started the 2014 season very promisingly with a couple of wins and then kind of flopped last time. I have a feeling this horse may be primed for a rebound off a little bit of a layoff, and it just seemed, the 2 wins were against shorter fields, so maybe we haven't defined the talent for this horse yet, but this is a horse that over the past, 5 jump starts has 3 wins. So again, I'm going to forgive that last one and look for a rebound today for the number 3. Second spot, we'll go with half of the 1 entry, and I prefer Charminster on the class drop, but there is a question mark here off the long layoff. But it does go in today for the tag, though. Last, 5 races, we're looking at graded company, including 3 grade 1s, but that's going back to 2012. Only had a couple of starts last season, been off since May of last season. So again, there's some question marks, but class-wise, I think this horse probably is a solid fit with this field. And then I do think the 2 entry is interesting. Versito, again, there's maybe some class relief on this one, but a similar scenario in that not raced very often over the past couple of seasons. So fitness off of that last race where the horse was pulled up, but it was a grade 1, jumping grade 1. Now goes in for a tag. So again, the class move attracted my attention with the plain 2. The 2B just might be the one to catch, and so Easy Reach, I think, look for that one. Certainly the first time down the backstretch, and maybe the second time as well. This horse should have some open lengths in front of the rest of the crowd. You'll just take a look at this one on the far turn the last time. If those open lengths can kind of hold up coming into the stretch, Easy Reach might be tough to reel in. In the opener today, 3, 1A, the 2 entry, and 5.
Race number 2 at Saratoga, first one on the flats. It's a mile and an 1/8. It is a maiden claiming event, fillies and mares 3 and up. Bred in the great state of New York, they're in for a claiming price of $40,000.
6, 2, 5, and 3. The number 6 is Bella Facci. This horse showed an improved performance when dropped in for a tag last time. Had been racing in Statebred Maiden Special Company, dropped in for an open tag last time. Today goes for a Statebred 40 tag. I think that's probably still well within this horse's comfort zone given the improvement last time for the tag. So Bella Facci on top at a generous 6-1. The number 2, Kelly's Prize in the second spot. I think this horse is better than the latest effort. This horse broke in the air and hit the gate according to the trouble line. But you look at the races prior to that, the numbers clearly fit with this bunch. So I'm looking for a rebound, and again, with that excuse last time. Also, it's another horse going maiden special in for a tag today. And then in the third spot, Briandini. This horse was a pretty solid second to a runaway winner last time. You look at that past performance line, second by 13 lengths, and boy, well beaten. But again, it was a runaway winner. This horse was clear of the third place horse, so I think it was a pretty solid second as the 7-5 favorite first time in for a tag, so I expect Brandini to do well. Again, I have the number 3 in the third spot. I will mention a horse that I also find a little bit interesting that could offer some value is Confessa, who will be trying the dirt for the first time today. If you get a little bit of a price and you're playing some of the exotics, I certainly would take a second look at that horse as well. But I have it 6, 2, 5, and 3.
Well, Seth, I'm going to put Confessa in my top spot. I have it 4, 5, and 6. Trained by Danny Gargan, who won the Honorable Miss on Monday with Our Free Roll. I wasn't on the network that day, but you know I do cross-promotional stuff with Channel 10. I listed some of my selections for Monday. I had Our Free Roll at $15, and congratulations to Danny Gargan and his crew.
And that was a very generous price on that horse, by the way.
Yeah,
I said I hit the pick 3.
I didn't expect it to be that big.
And I hit the pick 3, and when I looked up before the race, I walked up to the betting window because I had Our Free Roll right underneath. I had La Verdad on top.
Yeah.
But I looked up at the price, and when I went up to play Our Free Roll, 9-1, and I'm standing at the betting terminal, and 2 people next to me are saying the same thing. So it floated down a little bit off of that. That was pretty close to post time, but that was a generous price for a horse with a lot of early speed.
Yeah, and with Paco Lopez aboard, we know he's aggressive. To me, that was the deciding factor. It ended up being that way. But getting back to the number 4, Confessa today, in the second race, I'm going to have to rely on her debut effort with State Bred Maiden Special Weight, where she finished 6th, got beat 4 1/4 lengths on April 23rd. Her subsequent race on June 6th was a clunker. And sometimes, Seth, I'm going to call it the second start syndrome. A lot of horses, particularly fillies, first time out, they really don't know what's going on. And the second time, they start to anticipate, they start to get anxious, and sometimes things don't work out in their favor. So I'm going to just assume that was a second start syndrome for Confessa. They've given her a little bit of a time between that race and this race to regroup. They're dropping her down to 40,000, moving turf to dirt. And as you said, I think she's going to be a nice price today. So I'm going to put the number 4, Confessa, into the top spot. For second, I have the number 5, Brandini, who was a distant second at this level in her previous start. She kind of broke open the gate, which is never a great sign, but she is 0 for 7 lifetime. But this definitely is the proper level for her to be in. I will put her in the second spot. And for third, I do have the number 6, Bellafacci, who, is moving up from an open $20,000 maiden race. That was the best race of her 4-race career. And as you said, I don't think it's necessarily a bad move. This is State Bred 40, so maybe the open 20 is comparable, and she is bred to handle the extra ground. So let's put her in the third spot at 6-1 also. So for me in the second race, it'll be 4, 5, and 6.
All right, race number 3 this afternoon at Saratoga. I said earlier that Abel Liscano had a horse in the feature. This is the race I was talking about. It's kind of a sub-feature. Let's say there is the Coronation Cup later on, but this is an allowance event with a $85,000 purse. These are New York-bred fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. They will go 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah, there's some tough New York big girls in here. I'm going to go 6, 4, and 2. The number 6, Willett. We know what she is. She's just a check-getting machine. 16 starts, 7 wins, 6 seconds, and a third. Last time out, she was second to La Verdad in the Dancing Renee Stakes, and that was returning from a 7-month layoff. So you have to think from a conditioning standpoint, she's going to move forward off that race. Jill El Rosario stays aboard. Last year here in Saratoga, she won the Union Avenue Stakes and was second in lots of talc. So everything just points to Willett. I think it's her race to win today. I'll put her in the top spot. For second, I do have the number 4, Galliana. Yeah, it's a chalky top 2 for me. She's exiting to win the Sweet and Sassy Stakes at Delaware Park on July 12th. Before that, she was a beaten favorite in an allowance race, but before that, she won a stake race at Delaware. Coming back with New York breds. If there's anybody who could possibly upset Willett, I think it would have to be Galliana. So again, pretty chalky with my top 2, the 6 and the 4. And for third, I'm going to throw in the number 2, Risky Rachel, who made a step in the right direction, in my opinion, in the Dancing Renee, and why not? That's her mother. I didn't even pick that up last time, and I knew that, Seth.
There you go.
I knew that Dancing Renee is the mother of Risky Rachel. I know Sandy Bacon. I remember we were on there why I didn't pick it up, but I was doing my notes last time. I'm like, wait a minute, that's her mother. She was a distant third behind Willett in that race, but she is 10-1 in here. And I think, again, step in the right direction. She started her year off in good fashion at Tampa. A couple of setbacks, but at that race in the Dancing Renee, I think it's going to move her enough forward to be in the third spot for me. So in the third race, it's 6, 4, and 2.
I have it 6, 4, 3, and 5, so I have the same 2 on top. I've gone Master of the Obvious as well. Willett was just behind the talented La Verdad last time. That was the seasonal debut. Won a New York bred stake here last summer, so I think Willett, again, absolutely logical. And my man, Abel Lescano, as I said, and I pulled out the chart Monday, Bedouin now, Abel Lescano on board, second longest price on the board at 28 to 1.
Was that Gene Reiff's first win of the year, I believe?
Okay.
Trainer Gene Reif, who's, tries his best out there, and it's just nice to see him break through.
Yeah, and I was happy to see. and they came down the stretch. As I said, I was live to some pick 3s. I was live with Zobear, who ran second as the 8 to 5 favorite, which was a pick 3 paying in the hundreds, and Bedouin now, who's a pick 3 paying $2,000. So who was I rooting for down the stretch? My top pick, Zobear, as I say, handicapping and actually playing are two related, but they're 2 different. So when my 4th pick won there, I was still plenty happy that one beat my top pick. But again, Abel Lescano won on that finale on Monday, on board Galliana today. And I think this horse, like my top pick, Willett, who ran second to La Verdad, Galliana had a nice effort against the talented runner last time as well, winning a stake down at Delaware over the talented Winning Image. So those 2, again, logical on top. And then in the 3rd spot, I used Atlantic Smile. This horse to me is very intriguing because that last race maybe is kind of a wake-up call in the seasonal debut for Charlton Baker, and that notion might be validated by the bullet workout coming into this. So Atlantic Smile looks a little bit interesting and dangerous to me in this race. I think the top 2 are absolutely logical, Willett and Galliana. But again, that last race from Atlantic Smile attracts my attention a little bit. So in the 3rd, 6, 4, 3, and 5.
Race number 4 at Saratoga. 7 furlongs. It is a claiming event for 3-year-old fillies. Claiming price is $25,000.
3, 5, 4, and 7. The number 3 is Rock Me Mama. I just think this horse might appreciate the class drop for trainer Jason Service. Been racing the last 3 starts and significantly better, but this horse did break the maiden at the end of last year for a 25 tag, claimed that day from Todd Pletcher, moved into the Jason Service barn. They won first off the claim in his 40,000 starter. 2 starts back were in an optional 75, not in for the tag that day, ran a good 3rd. I think this 25 is going to be right in the comfort zone of Rock Me Mama. 2nd spot, the number 5, Dash to the Flash. This is another horse that got a wake-up call. Last time was dropped in for a $20,000 tag, won nicely. And again, it just seemed to buyer figure and performance, seemed to signal this horse was kind of moving into the comfort zone. Now, the horse was claimed. I think off of that win last time, I'd label this horse the one to beat, but was claimed and moved out of the Asmussen barn. I want to see one in this new barn before I really jump on the bandwagon. But again, I think Dash to Flash probably going to be the one to beat. Just off of the claim, I was a little bit leery about putting this one on top, but certainly an absolute contender. And then the number 4, the Wildcat Girl. A repeat of the effort 2 back makes her dangerous. The buyer figure took a little dip last time with the move down to Delaware, but I think class-wise, and again, off of that race 2 back, the Wildcat Girl absolutely fits with this bunch. 4th race, 3, 5, 4, and 7.
I have it 3, 2, 5, Seth. I agree with you with number 3, Rock Me Mama. To me, the drop down just makes sense here. She was claimed in December for $25,000 out of her maiden score. She subsequently won the $40,000 starter, which is essentially never won 2 life. And then she was overhead in her next 3, so I just think she's being placed into a winning spot by her trainer, Jason Service. So I certainly agree with you with your top selection. I'm going to go also with Rock Me Mama. For 2nd, I have the number 2, Chase My Tail, who's 6 to 1 in the morning line. And, and she won at 7 furlongs for $20,000 at Belmont in her previous start. And you know what? That was her first time running 7 furlongs. She's going to get that same distance today, so obviously it's a distance that she likes. She did beat the number 1 from Tiz Moment on and the number 6 Cajun Wedding in that event, so I'm going to put the number 2 Chase My Tail into my 2nd spot. And for the same reasons that you discussed, I have the number 5 Dash to the Flash in my 3rd spot. Again, claimed out of a winning effort at Churchill Downs for $20,000 going 1 mile. She's 2 to 1 in the morning line, but as you said, I just want to see her run 1 time for the new connections before I can get overly zealous with her. 3, 2, and 5 for me in the Saratoga 4th race.
All right, that'll bring us to another break. When we come back, we will continue our look at Saratoga for this Wednesday afternoon. Stay tuned as the Handicappers Report continues live from the Saratoga backstretch.
I'm Steve Beck.
And I'm Seth Merrill.
Together, we're loose on the lead on Capital OTB, Sundays at 10 a.m. Why should they watch, Seth?
Sit down on Sunday, have a bagel, get some great racing conversation.
Cream cheese only, no jelly. Sundays, 10 a.m., loose on the lead, Capital OTB.
The future of online betting is here, and only at the all-new CapitalOTBBet.com. With a newly designed and engineered internet wagering platform, enhanced video streaming, additional funding options, and 3 new individual wagering opportunities, CapitalOTBBet.com delivers a state-of-the-art wagering experience found nowhere else in horse racing. Combine that with our all-new mobile website. You have 2 of the most powerful, innovative, and advanced wagering platforms available today. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Hey, race fans, head down to the all-new Clubhouse Racebook and get in the game. With live horse racing on more than 250 flat-screen TVs, state-of-the-art wagering terminals, fantastic food and drinks, an amazing Vegas-style atmosphere with seating for nearly 900 of your closest friends. Conveniently located at 711 Central Avenue, right off Exit 5 of I-90 in Albany, the Clubhouse Racebook is the better choice.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
I'm Mark Cassano. Join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch. We'll inform, analyze, and welcome in the biggest names in racing. So join me Saturday mornings at 10 for Down the Stretch, right here on the OTB television network.
Welcome back. We will continue our look at Saratoga for this afternoon. Race number 5, a state-bred maiden special event. These are 2-year-old fillies going a quick 5.
It's going to be 7, 3, and 2 for me. The number 7, Jessica's Ride. Chucky Lawrence, this is a first-time starter out of his barn by Freud. And Seth, I vaguely remember she was entered before. I don't remember if it was in that New York bred stake that the horse of Leah Giamatti's won very impressively. But it was scratched regardless. And but I remember liking her a little bit that day based on her work she had at Fair Hill, where she worked 47 and change. Now she's come north. She had another work after that at Fair Hill. Now she's stabled here. And I just like, she's posted a little bit toward the outside, which I think is going to be very good for first-time starters. As long as they break well, they don't get an awful lot of kickback in their face. Chucky Lawrence has this horse in his barn. I think I'm going to put Jessica's Ride into my top spot with Manny Franco aboard. For second, I have the number 3, Your Credit Is Good, who did make a start on July 2nd at Belmont. And certainly having a race under your belt never hurts for 2-year-old maidens. This is a daughter of Noonmark. They ran pretty good in her career debut. Finished 3rd, got beat 6 lengths, was kind of right there in the early stages, faded a little bit, but certainly will benefit from the conditioning and the experience, and you get a nice 10-1 with Rajiv Mirage aboard. So I'm going to put Your Credit Is Good into my second spot. And for third to number 2, Nana Joe, daughter of Majestic Warrior, has a very nice work on June 29th at Belmont, 59 out of the gate, a bullet that day. But Seth, she's in a little bit of a tough post here for trainer Neil Teresiano. Jose Ortiz aboard. She's going to have to break well. If she breaks well, she could be the horse to beat with that gate work under her belt. But again, if she doesn't get off all that well, she could get swallowed up. But I have to respect that work. I'll put her in the third spot. 7, 3, and 2 for me in the Saratoga 5th.
That's what Saratoga baby races are all about. You have 7, 3, and 2. I have none of those in my mix. I have it 6, 8, 5, and 11. I have the number 6, Ooh La La, on top. Goes out for Tony Dutrow, first-time starter. I think there's a little bit of punch with the trainer and the sire as far as first-time starters. And the dam produced a sibling called Mob the Warrior that won its career debut. So I think there's precociousness all around. I'll take a shot with Ooh La La. Second spot, I'll go with number 8. First Charmer, another first-time starter. This one goes out for Michael Dilger. He kind of attracted my attention last year with Mexicoma, and I've been following him a little bit. I find Dilger kind of interesting and maybe a guy on the up-and-come. I think there's, again, a little bit of breeding here as far as precociousness, so we'll stick that one in the mix. And then yet another first-time starter, Harlan's 6, the number 5 horse. Precociousness from the sire, maybe not so much from Tom Morley. He's maybe not known to have him cranked up first time out. However, it is Saratoga. I think everybody wants to win up here. And the dam did produce a sibling called Vivi's Party Girl that won its career debut. So I think there's some breeding here that says this horse can be precocious. And again, maybe Tom Morley, not known first time out of the box, but it is Saratoga. Maybe those stats would change up a little bit. I think Harlan 6 will be live this afternoon. We'll find out at about, what, at about 2:36 this afternoon how that works out. But in the 5th, I have it 6, 8, 5, and 11.
Well, we picked 3/4 of the field, so maybe we'll get one of them there.
Yeah, or does that bode well for who we left out of the mix?
And just a quick note before we go on to the 6th race in Saratoga, our friend Dave Grenick from the Racing Forum tweeted out this morning, juvenile races beyond 5 furlongs on the dirt at Saratoga will have a 10-horse limit. Change from 8 starting on Saturday. So I thought that was a very interesting note. Thank you, Dave, for putting that on there so we could pass it along to our viewers. Like 10 for...
I'm all for that.
Yeah, I'm over 5 furlongs.
Yeah.
There'll be 10 horses on the dirt for 2-year-old maiden races. Moving on to race number 6 at Saratoga, 6 furlongs. It is a claiming event. Fillies and mares 3 and up. Claim price $25,000.
I thought this was a tough race. You could go a number of different directions and make an absolutely legitimate case. But and so I'll be interested to see how we match up in this one. But
was it the Chiclet Show?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, drum roll, please. I have it 1, 5, 8, and 2. The number 1 is Mama Z. Goes in for a tag today after trying Stakes Company last time. You go back with the last time this horse was in for a tag was back in November down at Aqueduct, won pretty easily that day. So again, that was significant to me. Does have to overcome the inside post position, the 1 hole, but I do think the class relief says that Mama Z is going to be an absolute contender in here. My Donna Jean, the number 5 horse, in the 2nd spot, has some back numbers that I think might be dangerous here. You have to go back to March down on the inner track. So this horse may be one that just has an affinity for the inner track. That is certainly possible. But also maybe getting a little class relief moving in for the 25 tag and those back numbers. We have to get back to those. And so there's a little bit of a question mark. But if that 8-1 holds up, we have one of the Ortiz brothers on board. I just think that my Donna Jean could be a little bit interesting. And then in the 3rd spot, I'll go to the outside. Kelwin, the number 8 horse. Just one of those. I'm looking at the numbers over the past 3-4 starts down at Parks for Steve Klisaris, and number-wise and class-wise, I think Kelwin is going to be a very good fit in with this particular bunch. So in the 6th, I have it 1, 5, 8, and 2.
I have it 8, 1, and 6. So we weren't too far off. And yeah, this race has plenty of speed in. In fact, the number 3, My Tea Time, coming in for Suffolk Downs with Frank Reyes aboard. His last start, he set a track record at Suffolk Downs, going 5 furlongs. And I think one thing about Frank Reyes, I don't know him, Seth, but he'll be riding like a man possessed today. So I think he's going to be...
And I have to admit, I got circles and check marks. I didn't know what to do with My Tea Time. He runs back to that race. Watch out.
Yeah, watch out. But I think he's going to really have a big say in the complexion of this race because there's other speed in here, and I think it's going to set up for the number 8, my top choice, Kelwin, because I don't think Frankie's taking back. To be honest with you. I don't think he's taking back. This horse had a track record on the lead. I think he's going to go and spoil it for a couple others. But Kelwin, as you said, I think a little bit of a class relief, and I think it's well spotted in here, dropping down from the 2nd level allowance race at Parks. Trained by Steve Klisaris, and we mentioned a horse trained by Michael Lauer earlier that he claimed off of Steve Asmussen how it's going to fit. I think I'm more inclined to go to Steve Klisaris because of familiarity. I know Steve's work. I've known him for a long time. I don't know Michael Lauer, and he's probably a very good trainer. But to me, just knowing Steve's work up and down the East Coast, I think he's just putting this horse in its proper spot. Posted well with Angel Arroyo aboard on the outside, and I think Kelwin will pick up the pieces down the lane. For 2nd, I do have the number 1, Mama Z, who does have speed, but doesn't have to be on the lead. A little bit overmatched in the Red Cross Stakes at Monmouth last time out, and again, spotted well in here. And for 3rd, I have the number 6, Rosie My Way, who was 3rd in her prior start at this level, behind the number 2, Coast of Sangria. But I think Coast of Sangria is going to get toasted on the front end, and Rosie My Way will be running late. And has Joel Rosario aboard. That's close. But don't you think they just have Rosie Napravnik on Rosie My Way?
It never works out.
It never works out that way. 8-1-6 in the Saratoga 6 race.
The 7th race this afternoon is a starter allowance at the $50,000 level. They're on the grass at a mile, and these are fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up.
3, 7, and 6. We talked about this race at the top of the program because this was Matt Gray's pick of the day, and we are in agreement with the number 3, Benny's Bullet. So look out, Benny's Bullet. And, you know, you just have to think that the connections of this race want this horse to be on the lead. She's stretching out to 2 turns for the very first time. She's been running on the turf, so we know she likes it. Claim for $40,000 out of Never Win 2 Life, and all these horses are Never Win 2 Life, so it's not that much of a elevation if you're thinking, well, she ran in conditional claimers last time, but everybody in this race has only won one race in their careers. And Gary Gull did claim this horse. They're going to put the blinkers on, stretching out. E-Rate Ortiz aboard, and I think he's just going to set sail and say, catch me if you can. Hopefully this turf course is not too soft, and Benny's Bullet can carry that speed all the way around there. So let's put that one in the top spot, again, in accord with Matt Graves on that one. For second, I have the number 7, Sunday School. Just consistent this level in her last 3 starts, but she hasn't finished it off either. A couple seconds and a third. So again, right there, but not getting it quite done. I'll put her in the second spot. For third, I have the number 6, Lonely Teardrops. Seth, I had her last time in her maiden breaker. In fact, I had to triple that day. I was even singing Lonely Teardrops on air the next day. It's a classic tune by Jackie Wilson. I'm not going to sing it today. It didn't go all that well. We have a much bigger audience than we did last month, so absolutely not going to do it. Lonely Teardrops went wire to wire that day. She's not going to be able to have the lead today. I'm going to go 3, 7, and 6. It wasn't pretty sad.
I like that. Didn't go that well.
It didn't go well.
Your own worst critic. I have the same 2 on top. I just haven't flipped. 7, 3, 4, and 8. I have Sunday School on top. And I just gave this one a slight edge on the numbers over the last 3 races. So, again, just the slightest edge. I said it when Matt was on. I have Benny's Bullet right underneath, and I kind of went back and forth and just slightly tilted for Sunday School. But I do think, and I have written next to the horse, Benny's Bullet, dangerous and probably the one to beat. So I have no argument with you and Matt putting Benny's Bullet on top. I just slightly went in favor of Sunday School.
Well, if the turf is playing,
and that's
your way, it could be in your favor.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, as you said, because we did have some good soaking rain, but we hadn't had much before that. Right. So the turf course, we'll have to watch today and see how I think it can go either way.
It's labeled as good right now.
All right, and in the third spot, the number 4, Ear to Rhythm, who, boy, this one to me is one of those scratch your chin kind of a situations, because this horse has shown a little bit of promise. I thought the maiden breaker was pretty good, was claimed out of that, and then moved into some allowance company in a couple of starts this year. And last time, obviously, had an excuse with a poor effort, but there was an accident there, and so it's just one of those little bit of as I say, a little chin scratcher. I think Ear to Rhythm could run well today, but I don't know whether we have enough of a database to go on to say that for certain, but I'll throw it into the mix. 7th today, 7, 3, 4, and 8.
Moving along to race number 8 at Saratoga. 6 furlongs. It is an allowance event. Fillies and mares 3 and up.
11, 6, 4, and 5 for me. The number 11 is Love You Loads. Goes out for Todd Pletcher and owner Michael Tabor. They had to go down to Monmouth to break the maiden, but did it pretty convincingly. I mean, that last race to me has one of those light bulb moment kind of looks to it. Started the career in 3 races down at Gulfstream. None of those were super inspiring, either finishing position or number-wise. Then moved up to Monmouth and showed some nice early speed at a mile before fading, and the number there wasn't much, the buyer. But, again, last time, cut back to 6 furlongs, won pretty convincing, and as I say, just had that light bulb kind of a moment look to it. So I'll put Love You Loads on top with a move up here to Saratoga. La Madrina, the number 6 horse, in the second spot. I've said it before, sometimes these horses go through a condition. They need a start at that next condition to kind of figure it out. Well, this horse, very, very convincing in the career debut down at Gulfstream, breaking the maiden first time out and doing it in good fashion. Then maybe needed a start. It was off a little bit of a layoff. The buyer figure dipped maybe a little bit, but again, I think just that signals some good education at the non-winners are one other than level, should improve today. And then in the third spot, the number 4, Tis May West. Another one of those that maybe a little bit of a chin scratcher in that the career debut was very nice, a nice win at Churchill in June of 2013. Then laid off a year, came back, a good second place finish, but the buyer went significantly in the wrong direction. So I'm kind of thinking, this horse could go either way. Have to have it in the mix. But again, maybe a little bit of a chin scratcher on the buyer that was fired in the seasonal debut. We'll find out more today about Tis May West, but I have it 11, 6, 4, and 5.
I'm going to go 4, 6, and 2. I'm going to put the number 4, Tis May West, in my top spot. And as you said, Seth, she broke her maiden at first asking, and she took a whole year off. Saying, what do you want from me? But obviously, I think something must have gone wrong.
Did a Costanza. Good night, everybody.
Good night. I'll see you next year. But I don't think that was trainer Elstall's design or the owner's design to have that happen. And I'm taking that into consideration with her return race a year later, where she did take the lead but then faded late. And I'm speculating that trainer Elstall was not able to maybe have her quite as honed for her return race. Obviously, maybe there was an issue physically with her, and maybe she wasn't 100% fit that day, and thus the regression. And maybe she just needed that race. And I also noticed that in the interim between her race this June and the race coming up today, not a lot of fast work. So again, that's indicating that maybe Elstall can't really hone on her in the mornings. He needed that race to help get her fit. So I'm going to take a chance that I just might be right on this one and put Tis May West into the top spot. This is a very, very good race. This is a fun race. For second, I will go with the number 6, La Madrina, who did win at first asking, as Seth said, in March, Gulfstream Park for trainer Shug McGahee. She returned in May and was a beaten favorite third that day. Maybe that second start syndrome that I talked about, especially with fillies. First time out, they don't know what's going on. Second time out, they start anticipating. They get a little bit riled up, and she had Jose Lezcano aboard, and she was laying a lot closer to the pace that day that she did in her maiden breaker with Castellano. Reunites with Castellano today, and I really expect Javier to really be patient with her and kind of take her back and make that one run. I'm just hopeful that my number 4, Tis May West, gets to jump on her and will be able to hold her off late. And for third, I have the number 2, Ocean Boulevard, who's going to be returning from a 9-month layoff. She broke her maiden last year in Saratoga as a 2-year-old. Couple unsuccessful stakes attempts subsequently, but she's working very well for her return for trainer Ian Wilkes. Again, 15-1, just something to juice up my triple a little bit. I don't think she'll win, but I think this is going to be a springboard race. I expect her to be finishing well. 4, 6, and 2 for me in the Saratoga 8th race.
All right, we will take our last commercial break. When we come back, we'll look at today's feature, the Coronation Cup, and the finale on the day, the 9th and the 10th, coming up right after this. Stay tuned.
I'm Jeff Carl. Join me weekdays right here on OTB TV. I'll be reporting from the Saratoga backstretch, and you can catch me later on 10 ABC. I'll give you some spot picks for the next day's racing card.
1922. Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pennell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pennell's has been preparing delicious Italian food served in a comfortable home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 91 years of authentic Italian recipes made with the freshest ingredients, and 91 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pennell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
The Capital OTB Handicapping Challenge Series is back. That's right. The 2014 Capital OTB Handicapping Challenge Series is back, and it's your chance to win thousands in cash and prizes, and a seat at the 2015 Handicapping Championship in Las Vegas. This month's contest is the Saratoga Classic on August 9th. So sign up today, online at capitalotb.com, or stop in at the Clubhouse Racebook.
I'm Brian Nadeau of HorsePlayerNow.com. Did you know that each Monday during the Saratoga Racing Meet, all Capital Bets account holders can earn an additional 1% in their Player Rewards program and wagering on Saratoga races? For more information, log on to CapitalOTB.com.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report Wednesday morning. We're looking at Wednesday afternoon. We only have a couple of races left, including today's feature. It is the Coronation Cup, $100,000 purse for 3-year-old fillies. They're scheduled on the grass, a quick 5.5.
And just a quick update again from Dave Granger. The Racing Form has tweeted out that Last Gunfighter will run in the Whitney Zevo to wait for the Woodward per Chad Brown. So, David, thank you for that update as we get prepared for a very nice Whitney Stakes this Saturday.
I think drawing over in the paddock like 10 o'clock this morning. I think it is the draw.
So then we'll see what the post positions are. In the Coronation Cup, for me, it's going to be 7, 3, and 10. You know, I didn't think this was an overly tough race for a stake race, and I'm going to take a chance with the number 7, Stars Above Me. She's 1 win in 5 races over in England. Most recently, she was 3rd, where she yielded in the final furlong, according to their chart caller. She's now moved over to America. She's in Grand Motion's barn, and most importantly, she's going to be receiving Lasix today. So, you know, I'm going to take a chance. Again, I think the Lasix should help this filly. When you read a comment that she yielded the final furlong, and now she's getting Lasix, you're just under the assumption that she bled that day. Thus, this is why they've shipped her over here. They can't run on that stuff in England. So, again, Graham Motion, she's in good hands. I don't know how long Graham has had this horse. I actually tried to meet up with Graham this morning. He won't be back here until the races start. But another update, I did see George Weaver this morning. The number 4, Hot Squeeze, who's cross-entered for tomorrow. Hot Squeeze will be running tomorrow, not today, in the Coronation Cup. So take that one out of your equation if you have her in. But again, I'm just going to take a chance with Stars Above Me in the top spot. For second, I have the number 3, Burn Control, who is 2 for 2 in her short career. She won a maiden and an entry-level allowance race at Parks. Both of them on the dirt, but this is a daughter of Bernstein, and they run well on the turf, so she should take to the grass. I'll put her in the second spot. And for third, the number 10, Elena Strikes, who's trying turf for the very first time for Todd Pletcher. She's a daughter of Smart Strike. They run anywhere you want to put them. I think you put them in the parking lot, they're going to run. And she's just been very consistent, so you can't leave her out of here. I don't think the transition to the grass is going to hurt her whatsoever. 7, 3, and 10 for me, which I think is a wide open field, Seth.
Yeah, and Jeff, I didn't know what to do with your top pick. Stars Above Me. Normally on the turf, for first time European, I'm all about them. But sprinting is a different game, as was exposed by Wesley Ward. He goes over there and he wins, because I don't think that's not their mindset, whereas Wesley Ward trains and has them ready, so he can go over and win those sprint races with horses coming from the United States over to Europe. And I think, that indicates, as I say, that sprinting isn't where their turf horses run their best. So I didn't put the 7 in the mix, but again, it wouldn't shock me. And just as you say, just reading between the lines, adding the Lasix today, that's probably the game plan. And so I didn't know what to do with Stars Above Me. We'll see. Certainly that one could beat me, but I left it out of the mix. I went 5, 10, 3, and 9. The number 5 is Scat Capade. I've said it before. I like proven turf sprinters and turf sprints, and Scat Capade is a proven turf sprinter. Has had some success sprinting, not necessarily this short, but I do think Scat Capade, again, out of this particular bunch, maybe on the the past performances, this is the one that's most interesting as a proven turf sprinter. Second spot, the number 10, Elena Strikes. As Jeff said, this is a well-bred horse, and certainly the past performances, 3 wins and 8 career starts, 6 times in the money. The question mark is the turf. But as Jeff said, with the breeding, expect this one to do well. So off the latest effort, nice win at 6 furlongs with a pretty good buyer figure. This one, question mark is the surface, but probably should handle it. And then in the third spot, the number 3, Burn Control. 2 for 2, both on the main track down at Parks. So like Elena Strikes, a little bit of a question mark on the surface. But if the talent does transfer over, Burn Control should be interesting. In the 9th and feature, 5, 10, 3, and 9.
That's going to take us to the finale at Saratoga. Race number 10, 1 mile on the Inter Turf. It's maiden special weight event for 3 and up.
And I have it 5, 13, 14, and 2. 13 and 14 are AEs. If they don't get in, the 7 and the 11 attract my attention. But number 5 is same as, goes out for Todd Pletcher. Now, first-time starter for Todd Pletcher, always have to pay attention, but do note this is a race for 3-year-olds and up. So this is a 3-year-old making a late debut, but a little bit of breeding intrigue here. I think some workouts that indicate this horse should be absolutely live today. So you have potent connections, a little bit of breeding, and a nice string of works. I'll take the first-time starter, same as on top. Then I'm going to go out, as noted. My next 2 are on the AE list. I think Jimmy Soul, of those that have run, the numbers over the last 2, which were when this horse transferred over to the turf, those numbers are certainly significant and worth taking note of, and Jimmy Soul should be an absolute contender if that one gets in. And then Jimmy Philpott, hey, maybe if they both get in, we'll have the Jimmy exacta, so we'll shoot for 13, 14, but Jimmy Philpott, nice improving buyer figures in the first 3 career starts, so I think this one could be primed to run well this afternoon. And again, the number 2 all the way, a first-time starter from Tommy Bush, has a little bit of breeding that attracts me if the AEs don't get in. Number 7, Uptown Joe, off of that last number in the seasonal debut, is interesting, and Candier for Chad Brown. So as I say, I got a couple of AEs, so I've gone a little bit deeper, but I have it 5, 13, 14, and 2, and a couple extras if the AEs don't get in. Look at the 7 and the 11.
You know, Seth, the last time they ran Jimmy Soul and Jimmy Philpott, I tried that Jimmy exacta, and they finished 2nd and 3rd, so we were close. Yeah, I didn't factor them in today because they're on the AE, and at this point in time, I don't know if they're in or if they're not, but Seth makes a very, very good point. If either one draws in or you both draw in, I think you do have to consider them. That being said, I stuck with the horses in the body of the race, and I went 5, 11, and 6. The number 5, same as, you know, I haven't picked a Pletcher horse on top all day long, so you got to throw one in at some point. And this is a son of Smart Strike with some smart works on the turf. If you take a look at it, his best works appear to be on the turf. Training course right here in Saratoga. It's all there for me. Todd Pletcher, Johnny Velasquez, you know, obviously running horses 2 turns out, first time out. These new trainers can do it. And same as 5 to 1. I don't know if we're going to get 5 to 1. That to me might be a little bit lofty, you know, taking into consideration it's Pletcher and Velasquez, Smart Strike with nice turf works. But I will put same as into my top spot for 2nd. I have the number 11 Candier. 2 nondescript efforts on the dirt. Previously trained by John Shearer, so we know he's a world-class trainer. Moved in the barn of Chad Brown now. This is a son of Candy Ride. Bullet work leading into this race. Javier Castellano aboard. So again, I think this one still has some room for improvement. Let's put that one into the 2nd spot. And for 3rd, I will go with the number 6, Troubled Waters, who's progressed nicely through his first 3 starts for trainer Mike Trombetta. Sprinted a couple times at Pimlico, then stretched him out on the Monmouth main track, where he handled the stretch out just fine. Now he will try him on the turf. And at 6 to 1 when Rosie aboard, I thought he was interesting enough to throw in my mix. So for me in the 10th race, took me all day, but I will go with the Todd Pletcher horse in the top spot. 5, 11, and 6 in the 10th.
All right, so that's our look at Saratoga for this Wednesday afternoon. Just one of the tracks you can enjoy on the network today. We'll kick things off with Saratoga. Then we're going to move up Boston Way, Suffolk Downs, Delaware, Indiana Grand, Delmar, Northfield, Pocono, Woodbine, Saratoga Harness, and a little bit later on this evening, Australia A, B, and C. Don't forget, if you log on to the brand new website, it is brand new and streamlined. You can find links to all the things that you want to find out on capitalotb.com. You can connect to the morning programming. You can link on over to the new betting website, and you can find out all the promotions and events that are happening during the Saratoga race meet, and those are plenty. Pretty much every race day, there's some kind of Capital OTB promotion happening throughout the race meet. Also, don't forget, Bet 50, Get 50 continues. As soon as you bet 50 into a new Capital Bets wagering account, Capital OTB puts $50 into your account. When you become a Capital Bets wagering account holder, that allows you to log on to capitalotbbet.com, the new state-of-the-art wagering platform. Jeff, just pull out my what's coming up at Saratoga for week number 3. Today, it's another one of those editions of the International Heritage Series. It's Italian-American Day. I'm going over to the tent and see what the food's like.
Yeah, my maternal side's 100% Italian, so I'm half Italian, and yeah, that's going to be a great day.
And I love this, too. part of the festivities of Italian American Day over at the Italian Heritage tent out in back the Saratoga Pavilion. It'll be Gary Contessa and from the Brooklyn Boys Stable, a member of the New York board, Anthony Bonomo. They will have a couple of teams and they'll be facing off in bocce.
Wow, you talk about exciting. Talk about exciting.
I like bocce.
I like bocce too, but I like that. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a spectator sport, but you know,
you make a good
maybe there'll be some good-natured fun with
no,
Gary.
I'm sure there would be. And as I say, I'm going to pop back, check out what the food's like. But
any idea what the line is on that?
That's what I want to go over. I want to see how. I have a feeling this may be more cutthroat than you're anticipating. Tomorrow it's Taste of New York Wine and Cheese. There's a Rosie Napravnik autograph session that will benefit the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation. So keep all of that in mind. It's coming up this week number 3 up here at Saratoga. We'll keep you apprised of other events as the week moves along. All right. Time to wrap things up for the Handicappers Report live from the Saratoga backstretch on this Wednesday morning. The sun is breaking through. It does look like it's going to be a nice day up here.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's a nice, fun card as well. If you're planning to come on up, by all means do it. If you can't make it up, certainly stop by one of the branches or log on to capitalotbbet.com. But whatever it is, enjoy the races, cash a few tickets. We'll see you tomorrow morning here for more Handicappers Report. Up next, Racing Across America.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.